was half closed.
Well, they changed their tactics and played a 5-man front, which forced the Jags to kind of readjust to what kind of runs they were going with. They had 6 carries in the first half between their top 2 tailbacks for basically nothing in the game. But you're right. They did stick with it. They found some runs that worked. And I don't think it'll be the last time we see a 5-man front, because I think teams are going to say, hey, we're not going to let your run game go for 200 a game like you're kind of doing the first couple weeks. We're going to make Trevor Lawrence be the one who has to beat us.
We could see it today. The Niners, if you recall, came in here in late October, early November, I forget the exact date, in 2023, and they had just traded for Chase Young, and they put a 5-man line on the ground. So we might see it from Robert Saleh this afternoon in San Francisco. The running. The offensive line has played surprisingly well. They've only allowed 2 sacks in 3 games. And, as you mentioned, they ran the ball for over 200 against Carolina, and they had a big day in week 2 against Cincinnati. Not so much. I've at least been surprised by it. The right tackle, Anton Harrison, who is playing well after being challenged in the spring, not so surprised.
I wouldn't say surprised, just because I've seen how much work we put in the offseason. Literally, once the new guys came in, it felt like we played a year together already. Just everybody connected so well, and it was good on the field. It was the same thing on the field. So coming out there week in and week out and doing what we're doing, I wouldn't say a surprise, but it's definitely something that we knew we can do.
Is he the reason they're playing well because he's taking away a great pass rusher? He's done a great job so far. Or is Robert Hainsey, the center, the guy that should get some credit for he's pulled everyone together? What do you think? Who's the MVP of the offensive line after 3 weeks?
Yes, and Ezra Cleveland, yes.
Okay.
Those 3 guys in particular, I think you can make the case for Cleveland. You can make the case for Hainsey. And I probably would vote for Anton right now, because he was challenged in the offseason by his head coach, by Coach Surratt, the offensive line coach, that he's got to bring it every single week. And so far, he's done that. And it just goes to show you, right? Like, if you said, all right, what are the things you're confident in on offense? What are you not confident in going into the season? Or at least what are you questioning? You'd be most confident in Brian Thomas Jr.
Yes.
Right? Best player on the team. You'd be most questioning about that offensive line.
Right.
And it's kind of flipped. And that's okay. As long as the Jags are winning games, it doesn't really matter where it's coming from in the short term. Over the course of the season, that'll bear out. But if you could choose which is going to play their best season, you'd want that 5-man unit to get the job done. And they have so far.
So let's touch quickly before we go to our first break on Devin Lloyd, who is playing at a very high level. Now, the former first-round pick has frustrated people with his inability to make the kinds of plays that made him a first-round pick, but yet he's clearly comfortable. He's had a forced fumble and an interception against the Bengals and a fumble recovery against the Texans last week. Important plays at big moments. He likes where he is, and he loves the team he's playing on this year.
I like the system that we got. I like us playing together as a whole. Everybody's communicating well. Everybody's in the right spots, and we're just playing together. It's really 11 as one. I think everybody is doing a great job. I think collectively we're playing the best ball as a unit that we played, and all that goes hand in hand. And, just looking forward to continuing to build off all the success that we've had.
Now, if they could get this guy playing consistent football this year, man, would that help this defense?
Well, they've got him doing it, right? If they can keep that up, yes, for the next 14 games, it would be fantastic. I don't know if it's Anthony Campanile. I don't know if it's the contract year. I don't know what exactly it is, but Devin Lloyd is playing downhill. He's not been a liability in coverage. And, they alternated with him the first week with Ventrell. It's been more of the Devin Lloyd show since, and he is showing up. He is popping, and he's one of those guys that is making those clean tackles in space as well.
We've talked about a lot of guys here in this first segment, from Josh Hines-Allen to Anton Harrison to Devin Lloyd. It's a reason why the Jaguars are optimistic about their trip to the West Coast today, and we've got much more ahead on the Publix Tailgate show, including...
It is a part of the sport, but a thing that I remind younger players is that all you really have in this is your experiences and your memories.
That is former Niner, current Jaguar, Eric Armstead, back in the Bay Area. We'll hear from him coming up. But next, CBS Sports senior writer Pete Prisco's perspective. Jaguars Niners at 4:05 Eastern from Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara. This is the Publix Tailgate Show on Jaguars Radio.
It's game time, Jaguars fans. This season, feed your fandom with the Jaguars sub from Publix, the official supermarket of your Jacksonville Jaguars. Wow! Sink your teeth into crispy chicken tenders, boar's head bacon, melted cheddar, sweet coleslaw, and smoky barbecue mayo, all stacked on a fresh white roll. Taste the hype only at Jacksonville Publix locations. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Hey, fellow Floridians, I'm Brenda Marie, pet parent to 7 precious pups and a huge fan of natural gas. Hush, hush, you guys. When it's bath time, we love our natural gas tankless water heater. We get endless hot water when we need it, use less energy, and save money, too. Oh, yes, we do.
Now, earn up to a $700 cashback rebate for installing a new energy-efficient natural gas water heater. To learn more, go to peoplesgas.com/rebates.
Ride Now Power Sports is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. The pick is in. CF Moto is your top draft choice for excitement on the road or off. Don't miss the All Cylinders clearance event with financing as low as 0% or rebates up to $1,500 on select vehicles through September 30th. Make your winning drive today at Ride Now Power Sports Beach Boulevard. Mention Jaguars at the time of purchase and score big with CF Moto. See the full lineup now at ridenow.com. Restaurant Orsay is a bustling French-American bistro focusing on classic French techniques with their chefs incorporating a traditional Southern influence. Celebrate life's special moments or just relax and enjoy their daily happy hour. Restaurant Orsay also offers full-service catering for any of your event needs. Restaurant Orsay, located in historic Avondale at 3630 Park Street. Visit www.restaurantorsay.com.
2 hours ago, Kyle arrived at the bar.
Hey, what's everyone drinking?
30 minutes ago, Kyle got his friends another round of drinks.
Cheers!
5 minutes ago, Kyle decided to drive home drunk. A minute ago, a law enforcement officer pulled up behind Kyle.
Sir, have you been drinking tonight?
A chain of events that began 2 hours ago is about to change Kyle's whole world. Drive sober or get pulled over.
Brought to you by FDOT.
Craving the ultimate game day experience? Look no further. Cheer on your Jaguars as they travel to San Francisco to take on the 49ers this Sunday at the official away game watch party at Mr. Chubby's Ponte Vedra Beach. Indulge in the biggest and best wings in town with appearances by Jackson DeVille and Allure. You'll even get the chance to win autographed items and game tickets, all while soaking up the lively atmosphere with fellow Jags fans. Mr. Chubby's Wings, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mr. Chubby's Wings, before the game, after the game, and during the game.
Welcome back to the Publix Tailgate Show. Brian and Mike with you from the Hyundai Studios inside the Miller Electric Center in Northeast Florida. 4:05 for the Jaguars and 49ers from Santa Clara, California. Jaguars 2-1, going to take on the undefeated 3-0 San Francisco 49ers. We just talked about, how good are the Niners? Is this an elite team? Are the Jaguars going out there with a good opportunity? I think so. You visited with Pete Prisco. I'm interested in his perspective.
I did, and we'll get into a lot of different issues, but we'll start with the one that's been plaguing the Jags. That's drop passes. And, what can be done here to stem the tide of what's been happening with these miscues?
Mike, other than practicing it, getting extra work, and, a lot of the times these guys go with the gun, and I don't think that's the best way to do it. I think they need to just go catch footballs after practice and, focus on the little things and getting your hands the right way. And sometimes I think, it gets to the point where it's in your head. And more than anything, I think it might be a mental thing with everybody, particularly with Brian Thomas. But the other part of that equation is Trevor Lawrence sometimes needs to put the ball where it needs to be, too. There are drops, and I'll give you an example. The Parker Washington drop when he made the crosser on the cross in the field was a little bit behind him, and he was open in the middle of the field for a tick before Trevor Lawrence even wound up to throw the football. So I think it's a combination of both. I think, they need to focus better, and Trevor Lawrence needs to be better with his ball placement.
Well, Trevor did get some criticism last week as people said, hey, look, I understand Brian Thomas pulling up. He was leading into a big hit. Some quarterbacks do throw it a little behind you, Pete, on crossing routes because they're trying to take you away from that contact. Is it possible that was an adjustment Trevor was trying to make?
No, I think it was more he was late with the football than anything. If he's on time with the football, then he catches it and runs. And so he was just a little late with the football. And maybe after he was a little late with the football, he saw the defensive back out there and then just threw it a little behind him. So it's timing. It's a combination of being in rhythm and also putting the ball in the right spot and getting it out on time. And I think all that is added to some of the drops. And the sideline drop by Brian Thomas. If he throws that ball out, Brian Thomas might run down the sideline and catch it for a touchdown. And so he ended up having to make a play on the ball. And granted, he dropped it, but it wasn't a great throw either.
All right. Well, let's move off that issue and hope it becomes less of an issue here moving forward. Pete, last week, obviously, Houston came out with the 5-man front to try to take away the Jags' running game. They had been leading the league in rushing after 2 weeks. Do you think that's a tactic that other teams are going to try to copy and follow suit with?
Well, I think it basically says that we're going to dare you to throw the football. That's what it does, and they did. And the passing game wasn't great early, and then they adjusted. Jacksonville did a nice job in the second half adjusting to that defense and did run the football. But I would imagine until Jacksonville's passing game gets going the way they think it can get going, teams are going to play them that way. And I would too. I mean, they ran the ball. They were leading the league in rushing, so you want to try and take that away and make them throw the football. And I think this week might be different. I just have a sneaky suspicion that Travis Hunter is going to get more involved in the passing game.
Well, we'll get to him coming up in a moment, but Pete, obviously, I mean, it goes without saying it's a huge loss for the 49ers to not have Nick Bosa for the rest of the season, and there's really nobody on that roster that can come close to replicating it. How much of a break is that just for the Jaguars offense in general to not have Bosa on the field today?
Oh, it's enormous, Mike, and because he and Fred Warner are the tone setters for that defense, and now one of them is out of there, and he is the guy that can bring the pressure and bring the heat. And when you look at the rest of that defensive line, there's a lot of young guys on that defensive line, so they're going to be counting on a lot of youth to get going. Williams, the first-round pick's done some good things, but he's a rookie. And, Bryce Huff was a disappointment last year in Philly. He started to do some things in this defense, but he isn't Nick Bosa. So it's a team that has stars on it, and some of those stars aren't on the field. That becomes a major problem.
All right, well, let's circle back now. You mentioned you think Travis Hunter might have a big day today. Liam Cohen said earlier this week that they're not going to change his role, right? In other words, he's going to be the flanker. He's not going to play someone else's position if guys are hurt. Are you just expecting them to increase the volume coming his way?
I do, and I think they'll increase the volume. I think they also need to get him down the field, Mike. Look, he's done a lot of his catches have been quick throws where he's had to make moves or bubble screens where they get the other wide receiver out or a lineman out and try and create for him that way. I think he's got enough speed and enough ability to get him down the field a little bit. I think that's something that's missing from the passing game. They get Brian Thomas down the field sometimes, but they need to get Travis Hunter involved down the field. And I think this is when you don't have Nick Bosa on the field, this is a good week to do that.
Pete, we are not in the 1800s. I don't feel like travel to the West Coast is that daunting in 2025. Why is it so hard for East Coast teams to go to the West Coast? Is it the travel? Is it just the competition? Like in the Jags case, they've run into better teams when they've been out there.
Well, they've run into some good teams, but even when they played some bad teams, they've struggled out there. And Jacksonville's tried it a bunch of different ways. They've gone out early, they've gone out, normally, and tried to adjust that way. It's a tough, Mike, and you've traveled to the West Coast. It can wear on you, but I think they've tried to do a better job this week of adjusting to it, and we'll see. Look, when you get on the football field, you could be slogging through it at the beginning, even if you don't get adjusted to the time change. But once you get hit in the mouth to go play football, and you're right, a lot of those times those teams have been better. But, history says they haven't been very good on the West Coast.
Well, does that change today, Pete? I think a lot of people, despite the track record against the Texans, picked them to win that game last week. The track record on the West Coast has been abysmal, but that's a different set of teams. Do these Jaguars get the job done? Who are you picking to win today?
I'm picking the Jaguars. I think they're going to go up there and play good offensive football without Bosa in that lineup. There's not a lot of stars on that defensive side of the ball, Fred Warner being one of them. I think you can attack them down the field. And then on the other side, they're banged up. When you don't have Kittle and guys like that in the lineup, that's a problem. And so I think Jacksonville can go out there and win the game. I think they'll be physical. I think they'll run the ball, and I think they'll play good defense again.
Mike, it looks like a football team, I think, that for the first time going to San Francisco, equally matched. I mean, they're coming out with some players. They're going to face some players. But I don't think they're going into the Lions' den. Just my take on it.
No, I agree with you. San Fran doesn't have the feel of being a world-beating team, and this is the time to get them, though, before they get those pieces back, before they get healthier on offense. And even the guys are going to have today. Juwan Jennings can't be 100%. He's practiced once in the last 2 weeks, right? Didn't play at all last week. So he's going to go today is the word. But how effective can he be? Don't let him look like the best he's been, which last year he had a game where he had over 150 yards and 3 touchdowns. So he's quite capable.
You got to hang in there early because the effects of travel to the West Coast will be felt early. You can feel a little bit sluggish. They felt it at times going east when they go to London. It takes some time to work your way through it. But if they hang in there early, if they could just stay close, perhaps they can make a game of it.
Here's the other thing, and I don't think San Fran's the type of team to take teams lightly, right? You don't get the 3-0 and you don't have the consistent record. They do play Thursday night against the LA Rams.
That is
huge divisional game.
You bet.
Right? I mean, if ever there was a look-ahead moment, I don't think that'll be the case, but if you believe in that kind of thing,
I do.
It'll be interesting to see what kind of preparation they put in this week.
Because they expect to be right there with the Rams
Absolutely.
when it comes down to the end of the season. Well, listen, Eric Armstead played 9 years in San Francisco and knows all about the bicoastal travel, going east for games that started at 10 o'clock West Coast time. Now he's headed west, and while it's essentially the same distance, it's a little different headed west. It doesn't matter to Armstead, a pro's pro who understands that no matter where you play, you have to be ready to play.
A little bit different leaving on Saturdays, and they're trying to keep our body clock on schedule the best we can. We played in Vegas last year, somewhat similar. So yeah, just do the best you can.
Going home, does that feel like home still?
Not really home. I'm from Sacramento, but going to a place I've been for an extremely long time, and had a lot of memories there. So I'm excited about the opportunity to go out there and get our first road win.
A lot of success as well, although the team that you came here with 2 years ago, there's only 2 guys left on that defense now that Nick is injured. Things change so fast in this league. It's just part of business now, isn't it?
Things do change fast. It is a part of the sport, but a thing that I remind younger players is that all you really have in this is your experiences and your memories and that bond that you have with the people you do work with. That never leaves, so make sure that you cherish those moments.
You're off to a great start, and the defensive tackles in particular are playing very well. The run numbers say that, but the pass rush numbers as well. Why are you having success with your pass rush in the middle of this defense this year?
What I do best at a high level, and study my opponents and try to go out there and execute my game plan, and let the rest fall into place.
You would think today would be a day for him to get started. They're playing with some young players in there. They've had some injuries on the interior of the offensive line in San Francisco. He's got the motivation of going back and playing his former team. And I just think he likes being inside. I think he likes this scheme. We had a great conversation before we turned the microphone on about where he's at, mentally, physically, here in North Florida in his second year in Anthony Campanelli's defense.
Look, he's been a really good player.
Yeah.
I was excited when they signed him last year. Like, oh, you know what? We missed out on Calvin Ridley, but we're going to allocate that money to a guy that can step right in and help. And then the whole thing about where he was lining up and why wasn't he playing inside was a mystery that kind of bounced back and forth throughout the course of the year. But he's locked in there now. You got a great pair of edge rushers to work with, so they benefit him as much as he can benefit them.
And hopefully Mason Smith, the second-year defensive tackle from LSU, is absorbing all the lessons that he is providing.
Man, I mean, you want to talk about untapped potential.
Wow.
In Mason Smith. That guy is, if he can unlock what he's got inside of him, he's going to be really good.
It was good to watch him last week force the quarterback out of the pocket. Perhaps he can do a little bit more of that on the West Coast today. Well, PRI Productions is the official event production company of the Jaguars, and they have everything you need to bring your next idea to life. Visit PRIProductions.com. Coming up in 15 minutes, Jeff Loggeman and Bucky Brooks join us from the booth. But up next,
all about the ball. And really, we've been able to capitalize on our opportunities.
Secondary coach Ron Mileus talks about turnovers coming up. The Jaguars and Niners are at 4:05, and this is the Publix Tailgate Show on Jaguars Radio.
It's game time, Jaguars fans. This season, feed your fandom with the Jaguars sub from Publix, the official supermarket of your Jacksonville Jaguars. Sink your teeth into crispy chicken tenders, boar's head bacon, melted cheddar, sweet coleslaw, and smoky barbecue mayo, all stacked on a fresh white roll. Taste the hype only at Jacksonville Publix locations. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
A bold change. A historic development is underway for the Bold City, and the Jacksonville Jaguars and team partners are a part of it. Introducing First and Forward, a development partner program highlighting the significant contributions made toward the transformative efforts to the city of Jacksonville. Thank you, Belter, Brooks Building Solutions, Jackson Electric Supply, Office Images, Sims Crane, Start Tech, and People's Gas. Championing progress on the field and in the community. The First and Forward program. The First Coast Forward Together. To learn more, visit jaguars.com/forward together.
Jags fans, this one's for you. If you've got MyGate rewards, you're already in the game. But now you've got a shot at the ultimate prize, meeting QB1 himself, Trevor Lawrence, at Everbank Stadium with 3 friends by your side. With the MyGate Rewards Gatorade Club, every 5 Gatorade items you purchase equals 1 entry toward your chance to win. Stack them up and score big. See store for details. Gear up for the season. Gates got you.
Hey fans, it's Tyson Campbell, cornerback for your Jacksonville Jaguars. This season, make your game day even tastier with Al's Pizza in the stadium. And you can enjoy even more with the pizza pick-off promo after the game. When the Jaguars get 2 interceptions in one game, you'll score 50% off one pizza, any size you want, for 48 hours after the game. Just tell them you want the Jags Pick promo when you order. Up your game and your pizza with Al's at the stadium or any of their locations.
My best friend Riley loved going to the beach. She was a great swimmer. Then one day, during a swim meet, she collapsed. She had cancer, Hodgkin lymphoma. She spent months getting care at UF Health. The doctors did so much, even put her in a clinical trial. I wish we could go to the beach right now. But she's working.
Out of the water.
She's on lifeguard duty. Maybe we'll head out when her shift is done.
UF Health. Human progress has no finish line.
Craving the ultimate game day experience? Look no further. Cheer on your Jaguars as they travel to San Francisco to take on the 49ers this Sunday at the official away game watch party at Mr. Chubby's Ponte Vedra Beach. Indulge in the biggest and best wings in town with appearances by Jackson DeVille and Allure. You'll even get the chance to win autographed items and game tickets, all while soaking up the lively atmosphere with fellow Jags fans. Mr. Chubby's Wings, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mr. Chubby's Wings. Before the game, after the game, and during the game.
And welcome back to the Publix Tailgate Show. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure. Ryan Sexton and Mike Dempsey with you from the Hyundai Studios. The Jaguars and Niners kick off at 4:05 Eastern Time at Levi Stadium in Santa Clara. And it's time now in the first hour of the Publix Tailgate Show for our weekly commentary from Rick Ballou.
Can the Jaguars win on the road? Well, they've lost 11 out of their last 12, and the West Coast has been anything but kind. They're 4-15 lifetime there. They've never won in San Francisco. So, will this change? Well, how about some good news? Last week, the Jaguars won a game they would have lost a year ago. I don't even think you can argue that point. There's no question. They lose that game in 2024. They found a way last week. That is encouraging. Can they take that momentum with them now against a beaten-up 49ers team? Okay, let's talk about the obvious. Fix the penalties, fix the drops, but there are other concerns. Special teams. I think Cam Little and Logan Cook, that is the best kicker-punter combination in football. Last week they struggled. This new kickoff rule hasn't worked to Little's benefit. And for the first time in my life, I actually did say Logan Cook had a bad day. Quentin Allen Jr., his return, that was a rookie mistake. That can't happen if you want to win a game in San Francisco. Is it fixable? Absolutely. Is it fixable later on this afternoon? We'll find out. Third down offense, only 4 of 15 against Houston. They're 27th in the league right now at 37.5%. That has to improve. Trevor Lawrence can't continue to make a massive mistake every week. With the Ryder Cup going on, he's like Phil Mickelson at the U.S. Open, right? He'll pour in some pars, he'll roll in a few birdies, and then bam, 300-plus yards off the tee, into the woods, a double bogey. That's what Trevor Lawrence does every week. 2 weeks ago, the interception in the end zone against Cincinnati. Last week, double coverage. He has to get better. I think he's still the guy, and Liam Cohen can fix him, but you must clean that up. Finally, some really weird comments made by defensive coordinator of San Francisco, Robert Saleh, about Cohen legally stealing signs. To Cohen's credit, he was asked about it twice on Friday. He said the focus instead is on trying to win this game in San Francisco. Stay tuned. I think this story has legs. In the meantime, congratulations to Saleh. This may be the greatest oxymoron in NFL history. Think about it. Legally stealing. Enjoy the game, folks.
I think what he meant to say was they're pretty observant.
Yeah.
Not sure there's a lot of legs to that story.
I don't know. I think the way Kyle Shanahan talked about it on Friday, said, hey, it's pretty common practice. Oh, but we don't do it because we want to be fair. You're insinuating there's something unfair about what the Jaguars are doing. I think Liam Cohen's ticked about this story.
Oh, yeah, you could see that in his eyes.
Ticked. And I think that he's telling his players, they're saying the only way you can win is if you cheat. Yeah. And I think this is going to be a motivating factor for the Jaguars.
So you think
today.
maybe it becomes a story if they win today?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't think Liam Cohen will admit to it, but you might hear that from
you didn't hear anything out of L.A., and he pointed his finger at L.A., and you didn't hear anything out of Minnesota, and of course he pointed his finger at Minnesota too, so I just wasn't sure that this thing was going to go
anywhere. They're not
anywhere.
playing them this week, though. We are.
All right.
So
we'll see how they do. Defensive backfield coach Ron Mileus has helped to orchestrate a 180-degree turn in the secondary. A season ago, well, we know what happened. They lost 9 times in 10 games, and mostly because they gave up big plays down the field. This year, much different story, and I caught up with Ron Mileus, the first-year secondary coach in Jacksonville, though 25 years in pro football. He knows it's not him, but he believes it's the players, and 2 in particular, who've turned the room around.
It was important in the offseason that we earmarked a couple of guys that we really wanted. And Jordan Lewis was one of them, and then Eric Murray was another. And those 2 guys have made a huge difference in our maturity and how we go about our business. They brought a sense of calm, you can say, to our group.
You can tell when you talk to Jordan in particular that the expectation, the standard, Ron, is very, very high. Did you get that talking to him in his free agent visit, or did you know him from previous places?
Everything that we had heard, that was the kind of guy that we were going to get. And you know what? We got that kind of guy. The one thing he's able to do, he holds them accountable. He holds himself accountable, the players, and AP, myself, making sure we're on point as well.
You know, you're never guaranteed with what you're going to get in free agency. Once you pay a guy, he comes from one place to another, and how he'll mix. But he and Tyson Campbell seem to have a really interesting dynamic between them. They get along. They fit. Their personalities are so different.
Well, here's what I'll say about that. He's gravitated to a couple of guys. Jarian Jones spent the summer with him. So he's kind of been the big brother to a lot of guys. And he's a big brother to Tyson. He's a big brother to Jarian and to our whole group. So I give a lot of credit to how he goes about his business. Not saying it's all him, because again, Eric is that same way. Everything is very serious with both of those guys.
Eric and Dewey in the secondary have both had interceptions in the game against Cincinnati. You've got 9 interceptions in 3 games. That's an unheard of total around Jacksonville. Doesn't happen that often in the NFL.
Well, I think that our guys have really caught to the things that Campanelli's been talking about. It's all about the ball. And really, we've been able to capitalize on our opportunities. I know a lot of times what happens when you're not getting interceptions, you're probably missing out on opportunities. And thus far, we've been able to capitalize.
And tell me about Tyson in particular last week. He gives up the touchdown, then he causes the fumble, and then he makes the huge play on Nico Collins on the first play of their game-winning attempt, right? Tell me about what it takes for a player to bounce back that quickly.
That's exactly what I said to him. That was outstanding to be able to come back from something like that. Whereas we give up a quick strike and a sudden change and to come back knowing that the fact that they are probably going to come right back to you and being able to make 2 quality plays to cause a fumble. They're in scoring position, you could say, and then they take another shot on it. He makes another play. So I love the fact that he was able to forget the mistake and bounce back from it and have a positive impact on what happened at the end.
And you've got some young players who are starting to rise. Antonio Johnson last week. The week that you released Darnell Savage, here he comes and he makes a game-sealing interception. You could get Monteric Brown back pretty soon. You have not an embarrassment of riches, but you have some depth.
Well, I'll sit there and say this. Anthony Perkins does an outstanding job with Antonio. And Antonio he's in the office in the morning every day trying to get the little bits and pieces that's going to push him over the top on game day. So you could say this. The guys have gravitated to what it takes to be a pro. And you're starting to see those things.
You've been in this league for 25 years, college before that. How much fun is it for you to step in year one and see a team come together in the first couple of weeks and play the way you want them to play?
It's always important, especially if you're new to an organization or new to a group, to really come in and see the things that you talk about. Really, what Campanelli leads our group, see the things that he's demanding actually show up on game day, and I think that's important. It's not just one guy. Our leader is Anthony Campanelli, and we've got a couple of guys that have been around the block a couple times, meaning in the back end, that have helped with the message. And I think that anytime you can have that, you have a chance.
How about a final thought about what those guys up front are giving you? I mean, to see Josh and Trayvon pushing the pocket, really, it's a cornerback and a safety's best friend.
Well, you know what? When I got here, I knew that we had 2 quality defensive ends. I didn't realize what kind of quality we have. It does make a big difference when the quarterback's being harassed. And, yeah, a guy might be open for a step and knowing that the fact that he's probably not going to be able to see it. I mean, you think about the last play of the game. They have that ball get tipped, and I want to say the kid was coming open. That tip ball made our day.
You know, to go back to your comment at the top of the show, Mike, you talked about at the beginning of the season, you know, you would have expected Brian Thomas Jr. to have a big year.
Yes.
Surprised that he's not, at least to date. And you were surprised by the fact that the offensive line had played so well. Same thing with the secondary, right? This has got to count as big a surprise as the offensive line. Not that they're playing better. That's not a surprise. Campanelli and this scheme works. But that they're playing as well as they are. 7 interceptions leads the league. 9 takeaways lead the league. The secondary is a major story on this team right now.
It's only 3 weeks. The Eric Murray signing's an A. The Jordan Lewis signing's an A++. I mean, they've both been really good. Jordan Lewis has been everywhere making plays. But the thing about Eric Murray is what they sold to us this offseason is part of what we're talking about here, being a leader, being a communicator, getting guys lined up properly. Not a whole lot of talk about his playmaking ability. Right. Yet, he's found himself around the football. Jordan Lewis is a guy, Brian, who's been in the league and has 10 interceptions in 8 seasons, and he's coming here, and you think he's like prime Darrelle Revis, the way he's flying around, making plays. He's been an excellent tackler in the open field. I mean, those guys have made a massive impact to help improve the secondary in a short period of time.
And to talk to the young guys, the habits that they're picking up, about the way that they work, when they get to the building, how much time they spend in the weight room, in the film room, in the training room, in the dining room, and how they do it. Apparently, Jordan Lewis is leading them like the Pied Piper through the whole process of becoming a pro.
Well, you got
exactly what you want.
Yeah, pretty important guy who's joined that secondary in Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
And you want that environment, right? When you come into the league hey, these are pros. This is how you conduct yourself.
All right, folks, from the backyard to the beaches, the Ford F-150 with available Pro Power on board gives you the power of a mobile generator. Ford, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. See your local Ford dealer today. At 11 o'clock, well, not 11 o'clock, it's 2 o'clock. It's hour 2 of the Publix Tailgate Show. Sorry, we're still in East Coast time. When we return, Bucky Brooks and Jeff Loggeman from the broadcast booth at Levi Stadium. You're listening to the Publix Tailgate Show on Jaguars Radio.
It's game time, Jaguars fans. This season, feed your fandom with the Jaguars sub from Publix, the official supermarket of your Jacksonville Jaguars. Sink your teeth into crispy chicken tenders, boar's head bacon, melted cheddar, sweet coleslaw, and smoky barbecue mayo, all stacked on a fresh white roll. Taste the hype only at Jacksonville Publix locations. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Touchdown at Jaguars away games when you fly nonstop from Jacksonville International Airport. Catch epic showdowns in Cincinnati and Denver. Turn up the heat in Phoenix and Las Vegas. Support your Jaguars in divisional clashes in Houston, Nashville, and Indianapolis. View real-time parking, security, and flight updates on flyjacks.com. Whether you stick with the play call or you need an audible, they'll be your teammate every step of the way. Book your nonstop flights today. Learn more at flyjacks.com. Craving the ultimate game day experience? Look no further. Cheer on your Jaguars as they travel to San Francisco to take on the 49ers this Sunday at the official away game watch party at Mr. Chubby's Ponte Vedra Beach. Indulge in the biggest and best wings in town with appearances by Jackson DeVille and more. You'll even get the chance to win autographed items and game tickets, all while soaking up the lively atmosphere with fellow Jags fans. Mr. Chubby's Wings, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mr. Chubby's Wings, before the game, after the game, and during the game.
A bold change. A historic development is underway for the Bold City, and the Jacksonville Jaguars and team partners are a part of it. Introducing First and Forward, a development partner program highlighting the significant contributions made toward the transformative efforts to the city of Jacksonville. Thank you, Belter, Brooks Building Solutions, Jackson Electric Supply, Office Images, Sims Crane, Start Tech, and People's Gas. Championing progress on the field and in the community. The First and Forward program. The First Coast Forward Together. To learn more, visit jaguars.com/forward together.
Brooks Rehabilitation is proud to be the official rehabilitation partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. We are here for them, and we are here for you. Ranked #1 physical rehabilitation hospital in Florida by U.S. News and World Report, our playbook is individualized treatment and exceptional care to get you back to living your life. Brooks has cutting-edge technology and therapy solutions in every care setting, treating sports injury, orthopedics, brain, spinal injuries, and more. Go beyond your expectations with Brooks Rehabilitation.
2 hours ago, Kyle arrived at the bar.
Hey, what's everyone drinking?
30 minutes ago, Kyle got his friends another round of drinks.
Cheers!
5 minutes ago, Kyle decided to drive home drunk. A minute ago, a law enforcement officer pulled up behind Kyle.
Sir, have you been drinking tonight?
A chain of events that began 2 hours ago is about to change Kyle's whole world. Drive sober or get pulled over.
Brought to you by FDOT.
Brian and Mike with you on the Publix Tailgate Show. Hour number 1 coming to a close from the Hyundai Studios here in Jacksonville, but not before we get to Santa Clara and Levi Stadium, where Bucky Brooks and Jeff Logman are standing by in the Heritage of North Florida broadcast booth. Fellas, how are you?
Oh, doing fantastic, Brian. I mean, Bucky and I are sitting here at 68 degrees. There's no humidity. Got a little cloud cover.
You're saying California's nice.
I mean, it's a great place to visit, Brian, but the left coast, they can have it.
Say that to the guy who's sitting next to you there. He lives just a little bit south.
I know he does. This is his hood.
Yeah, I mean, it's a nice day today. We'll see how it warms up, but no, it's nice. You can't complain about it.
Time for Finding Solutions, presented by UF Health, the proud healthcare partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
All right, guys, the solution that I want from you is, how do you take an East Coast team and make them not be affected by the West Coast travel?
Look, I think you can stay on the same body clock. I think the more that you make it a big deal, the more it impacts the players. I think you line up, you have a schedule that is similar. Once you've done this a few times, you just got to get them ready and going. And I think everyone has their own process for getting ready. But I think the more that we make it a bigger deal, the more that it impacts the players. So we just operate business as usual.
And I'm one of those guys that, like, look, let's not make too much of it. If you're good, you can go and travel on the West Coast and win. Mm-hmm. If you're good, you can go to London and win. If you're good, let's go to the moon and play ball. We'll win, right? I mean, good teams travel well. Bad teams don't travel well. And hopefully this Jaguars football team is going to prove today that they're a good football team and play a team that has some missing parts. And a short week next week coming up with a lot of attention on that Thursday night matchup with the Rams. And you play well and come home with a win.
I'm with you. I just wanted to see from a couple of former players' perspective about how difficult that trip is. And obviously the other thing we could look for a solution for is the Jags' continued plague of drop passes. Can we leave that behind on the East Coast today, guys?
I would love to, Mike. I mean, and I hope that that's the case. There's no doubt that the drops have been a virus, and it has spread, especially last week, and that needs to be cleaned up. And Brian Thomas Jr. obviously is the one who's having the biggest problem. But, last week Parker Washington had a couple. Travis Etienne had one. And in order for this offense to get better, they got to clean things up. When I mean clean things up, and Liam Cohn talked about this, is that they got to clean up their operation. They need to clean up the drops. Mm-hmm. And if they do, Bucky, they're going to play well against the 49ers defense that just lost their best player.
Yeah, look, absolutely. It's about controlling the things that you can control. And when it comes to the drops and the penalties, the pre-snap penalties in particular, we can control those things because the drops that we're seeing are concentration drops. They're not drops because people are knocking the ball loose, and those things is simply not looking the ball into the tuck, putting the ball away, and finishing the catch. Those are things that you work on in practice. I'm sure they spend time on the jugs. I'm sure they spend more time working on the details of the catch mechanics. I would expect them to have a much better day today.
I've got another solution to that. Okay, and I'm going old school. Okay, remember Jack Tatum?
Oh, my God.
Remember
of course.
Stick 'em he had all over. You know what?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and just get some clear, undetectable stick-em and just put it all over. Glom it all over your hands.
They have that with those the gloves that the players are wearing today. It is almost impossible to drop the ball based on the tactification of those things and all that. Like I just don't understand it. It is a concentration issue. It's certainly not an equipment issue.
No, and one thing, Mike and Brian, and look, the offense and Trevor Lawrence, though, and the receivers, they all need to take a step forward today because you look back at what Houston did as a defense. They put 5 down linemen on the field. They stacked the box. And as an offense in the National Football League, if you don't make them pay in the passing game, it's hard. And the Jaguars want to run the ball. Well, guess what's going to help them run the ball? If they can loosen up that 8th guy or 7th guy in the box, depending on your personnel grouping, in other words, to lighten that box so you can go ahead and run the ball better, then I think that's all fine, and Danny, it'll be perfect.
It will be perfect. Remember, there's a blatant disregard for Trevor Lawrence and how they feel. Going back to 2023 when the Niners came out to Jacksonville, they talked about they wanted to make him play quarterback. They wanted to take away the first reads and see if he could get through the progression. To me, they're going to operate similarly until number 16 proves that he can beat them over the top. And so this is going to be a game where the passing game has to show up. It has to show out because to put points on the board, we're going to have to throw it into the end zone.
Yeah, you got to start making the accuracy better.
Yes.
From Trevor's standpoint, and we can talk about the drops, and that is on Trevor too because, ball placement matters. But they've got to find a way to clean that whole thing up.
All right, guys, let's flip it around. We know that Brock Purdy's a former Mr. Irrelevant as the final pick in the draft. When he's healthy, he's been very good. When you watch him on film, Bucky and Jeff, what makes him as effective as he's been?
He is Kyle Shanahan's joystick. He is able to make the X's and O's come to life for Shanahan. He's not the most physically gifted, but what he does do is he processes very well. He sees the thing that Kyle Shanahan wants him to see in terms of when the coverage opens up, he can deliver it. And as long as he is able to play according to the script, Shanahan is going to design a few winners for him to capitalize on. He's a really good quarterback, but he's small. He's athletic, but he doesn't have the biggest arm. You have to put him in obvious situations where they have to go to their drop-back game, take away the threat of play action, and make this be a drop-back game. Brock Purdy then is more likely to turn the ball over.
Well, and make it a drop-back game because, look, Kyle Shanahan wants to run the football and have play action, all of that off of it, and you take Brock Purdy out of his comfort zone if all of a sudden he is in that drop-back mode. And up front for the 49ers, they've got a rookie left guard and a young right guard that, to be perfectly honest with you, Calais Campbell wore him out last week. And if Eric Armstead wants to have a great homecoming, he should get up there and wear those two guys out and take advantage of the weakness of the 49ers offense, and it's those two guards.
All right, quickly, guys. Christian McCaffrey is a massive weapon. We know that. They're going to get the ball to him in a lot of different ways. How important is tackling in space today for the Jaguar defense?
Well, in a little bit, you're going to hear our keys, and one of that is the tackling of Foye Oluokun and Devin Lloyd, and both those guys have been playing really well, Mike, as you know. But Christian McCaffrey is kind of the motor, the engine of that offense. He's leading the league in touches with 77. And if they can get him going, it's going to be tough, And the 49ers are going to get a few pieces back to their offense today. but still the ultimate guy to stop is 23.
Yeah, 23. Obviously, Christian McCaffrey is the one that you got to keep your eye on. But remember, this offense is predicated on catch and run concepts, crossing routes, underneath things. Everyone has to tackle well. So the defensive backs, the safeties, everyone has to make sure that everyone is coming running, put them on the proper pad, make sure we get these guys down in space.
Yeah, and let me just add one thing here real quick, guys. This game, I think, became personal on Friday.
I agree.
That was
okay,
silly.
when Robert Saleh offered that information up about, the Jaguars, they've legally really advanced signal stealing type system and all that BS, I don't know if he's disgruntled because he didn't get the job that Liam Cohen got. And then all of a sudden, the head coach, Kyle Shanahan, kind of doubled down on that a little bit on Friday. So this game, I think, from a coaching standpoint,
really chippy.
I mean, it's going to be buckle up, and after the game, it's not going to be very pleasant. I don't think.
Like Jaguars, kind of.
I think this goes beyond that, Brian. I mean, because when you talk about Jaguars, that was written by a reporter, Woody Page, in Denver. Okay, this was said by a coach about Liam Cohen and his offense, and that basically he's saying he's getting an advantage. And here's the reality. He's talking about signal stealing, which is a bunch of BS, because the last time I checked, when the coach sends in the call to the defense, he does it through the helmet of the player. It's not like he's signaling, from the sideline to call the defense, and then Liam's over there going, oh, yeah, they're going to be in cover 2, so we're going to run this play. I mean, they're doing things on offense that everybody in the National Football League does. And for Robert Saleh to say what he did, that went to be on the personal side.
All right. Well, we'll leave it at that, guys. Thanks so much. Enjoy your day in the South Bay, and we will follow that story all day long. And that'll do it for hour number 1. Mike, meet JP, meet Mike. You guys got hour number 2 and
seen
3.
him around.
All right. That'll do it for hour number 1, folks. Stay tuned. Hour number 2 starts right after this on Jaguars Radio.
Frank Frangie here. When you want barbecue in Jacksonville, you want Bono's Pit Barbecue. You can find Bono's locations all around town and on game day at Everbank Stadium, because Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Over 70 years of authentic Southern Pit barbecue. We are the local barbecue joint in BBQval for generations of people in Jacksonville. Go to bonosbarbq.com to learn more, or call 904-880-8310 today. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
The kick is up. It's good!
Field goals for Firehouse Subs are back. That means when the Jags score from deep, you do too. Anytime the Jags score a field goal that's 40 yards or more, you can get a free medium sub with the purchase of any other medium sub, online or in the app, for 4 days following the game. So cheer on the Jags, watch for the big kicks, and get your buy one, get one free medium sub at participating Firehouse Subs throughout Jacksonville when you use the app. The hottest subs in Duval. See firehousesubs.com for offer terms. Touchdown at Jaguars away games when you fly nonstop from Jacksonville International Airport. Catch epic showdowns in Cincinnati and Denver. Turn up the heat in Phoenix and Las Vegas. Support your Jaguars in divisional clashes in Houston, Nashville, and Indianapolis. View real-time parking, security, and flight updates on flyjacks.com. Whether you stick with the play call or you need an audible, they'll be your teammate every step of the way. Book your nonstop flights today. Learn more at flyjacks.com.
If you are an experienced electrician looking for your next big opportunity, look no further than the Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller Electric, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering you the chance to showcase your skills on a grand scale. We believe in rewarding hard work with the best pay, top-notch benefits, and an unbeatable culture where people actually care about each other. Take your career to new heights with Miller Electric Company. Apply today at millercareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
Chelsea here, ready to upgrade your windows or patio doors? Right now during the Renewal by Anderson's Big BOGO event, buy one, get one 40% off, plus zero money down, zero payments, and 0% interest for 18 months. At Renewal by Anderson, our Acclaim Impact Replacement windows are built for Florida homes and designed to help you save money on your energy bills by maintaining indoor temperatures year-round. Offer expires September 30th. Restrictions apply. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free design consultation. License number CGC 1527613.
If you look closely at a Ford SUV, you won't just see eye-catching design. You'll feel adventure and a new sense of freedom in a Ford Bronco, or an elevated level of confidence from the advanced technology found in a Ford Explorer. And with standard 4x4 in the Bronco Sport, you'll find the strength to overcome almost any obstacle. It's time to see Ford SUVs in a new light. Stop by your local Ford dealer today to find a great deal on a new Ford SUV.
The Publix Tailgate Show continues right now.
Part 2 of the Publix Tailgate Show. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure. And we're closing in on the Jacksonville Jaguars and the San Francisco 49ers. It's a 4:05 kickoff time at Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara. JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey, Austen Lane out this week. We're at the Hyundai Studios at the Miller Electric Center. 3-0 Niners, 2-1 Jaguars, and a West Coast trip to try to get something going and see if they can get something done on the West Coast for the first time in a while.
Yeah, and this one, you get this win, even though it's not maybe vintage San Francisco from a couple of years ago. They're still the 49ers. They're still undefeated. They've got a lot of big-name, high-profile players. You win this game, you're going to start to grab the attention around the National Football League that right now is mostly coming from Duval.
And if you're going to get them, now's the time to get them. They're
the
beat
best
up.
time to get them.
They are so banged up. They've got a lot of frontline players down or on the injury report, so get them while they're down.
That being said, last week, no George Kittle, no Brandon Ayuk, no Jawan Jennings, no Brock Purdy, and they found a way to win.
They did.
But the one guy that they can't replicate is Nick Bosa, and he is out for the year, and, it's just not going to be the same on that side of the ball without him. So we'll see if the Jags can take advantage, maybe have a little bit of extra time for Trevor Lawrence to throw today.
Game day weather brought to you by the St. Johns River Water Management District. Waterless. Out in Santa Clara, California, cloudy, 70 degrees, a high of around 75. Should be perfect conditions there today. Here in Jacksonville, currently 84 degrees. And expected to drop into the 70s by around 7 p.m. and could be rain in the area a little bit later. Gusty winds up to 22 miles an hour as well. Let's get to some of the best sound of the week, starting with Liam Cohen. And yes, Robert Saleh decided to poke the bear and said the Jaguars have legal sign stealing that happens. Liam Cohen on Friday took the high road, but explained.
By formation, by game plan, by working really hard as a coaching staff throughout the week, trying to get indicators by your formation, motion, shift, pre-snap. Those are the things that you're trying to do as a coach. If you're, trying to put your players in the best position to be successful, whether it's attacking man or zone coverage with your formations, motions, and concepts. So it's a lot of hard work that goes into game planning and trying to put your players in the best position to be successful.
That's Liam Cohen's view on Friday in response to Robert Saleh.
Yeah, I do think this is an issue that will respond and reverberate with the players here. They're calling your coach a cheater. They're saying the only way that you're winning football games is because you're doing something underhand. Oh, it's legal, but this is really something we wouldn't do. I think Shanahan's comments took it to a different level. You could have read Robert Saleh as being, sour grapes for not getting the job or just a little gamesmanship. But when Shanahan then says, oh, yeah, the Jags are good at it, as are several other teams who do it legally, but we don't do it because we want to be fair in all aspects. What are you trying to say? Exactly. You're insinuating that the Jags are doing something unfair or illegal. So you're trying to have it both ways. I think Liam Cohen is probably really ticked off about this, and I hope his players have his back today.
And let's hear from one of those players who needs to have his back, Trevor Lawrence, Jaguars quarterback facing a 49ers defense. It's a scheme that the Jaguars are familiar with, but they're going to make you earn it with long drives.
They're really disciplined. They play most things top down. They fly around sideline to sideline as far as just the D-line and the linebackers. They make a lot of plays with that front group there. And then on the back end, I think they're really disciplined. They're really smart. You will have some opportunities down the field, but it's really taking that profit every time and being able to check the ball down. And they've played really well with that scheme of just banking that you're not just going to, take the small gains all the way down the field and put together a 9, 10, 12-play drive and go score. And they're also really good at taking the ball away. So when you do put the ball in harm's way, whether it's a throw or just carrying the ball, they're really good at punching, causing fumbles, all those things. So you can tell it's a really well-coached group. They fly around.
And, of course, the Jaguars' offense has to execute better on their own. A lot of drop passes. That's been noted all week long, the last couple of weeks, in fact. But even above that, Trevor Lawrence has to play a little better and push his team over the top.
Yeah, and right, you can't make the kind of where did that come from throw. And he had that on the interception last week. Yeah, he has had a plague of drop passes, but he's been off target on some of them as well. But we want to win football games, right? And Trevor Lawrence did come up with 2 game-winning tight plays late in that contest against a division rival who had beaten the pants off you since 2017. So, I mean, really, if you look and the refs call a questionable at best pass interference a different way, the Jags are 3-0. And nationally, there's a different story. Like, hey, they're finding ways to win despite not playing their best football. And that's where they're at right now. They're playing well in some aspects. It's a team game. This area is not good today. The other area's got to pick you up, and they've managed to do that and put themselves in position to win every week so far.
They haven't had that big shot down the field yet on
offense.
No,
they've missed
either.
A couple, too.
Yes, they have, and they're looking for that in the next step. And maybe Travis Hunter has a piece of that on offense as well. He had the 21-yarder, but it was a short 5-yard pass that he turned upfield. Liam Cohen trying to put him in better spots on offense.
We can probably do a better job of helping him in some ways. We had a great talk with Trav after this past game in terms of just, man, like, all right, how can we help you and put you, because he's, guys, right, what is he learning? It's a lot. So we've got to, I think, be a little bit more diligent in terms of putting him in positions to maybe not have to do as many moving parts so that we can just let him go play. You saw, he catches the out cut the other day and makes multiple people miss. And so that's what we're trying to continue to push, and that's got to be on us as well. Yeah, he has a hand in it for sure, absolutely, but I do think we can help him more.
Of course, the reps on defense more last week than offense. That I think they're both going to continue to rise. We'll see the status of De'Ami Brown as well moving ahead. But hey, you're going to see him a little more on offense as it goes. You just got to see him down the field some too. Haven't seen a lot of that. They had one week 1. He had beaten Horn, but Horn made the one-handed interception on an underthrown football.
And they had one in week 2. In the end, it wasn't a deep ball, but it would have been a touchdown if Trevor threw a little more air under heavy pressure from Trey Hendrickson. So, I mean, look, JP, the narrative would be so different if those 2 plays went a different way, and if the refs had called the pass breakup properly and not thrown a flag, they would have won the Cincinnati game, and there would have been talk nationally about Travis Hunter sealed the game for them because he made the big breakup. Look, man, it's a big leap from the University of Colorado to the National Football League, and he's trying to do something that hasn't been done in over 6 decades. So I think we got to give him a little bit of grace. But, yeah, I, like everybody else, want to see the ball in his hands more on offense.
Jags want to be a physical style of offense, though, as well, running the football, and that's right up tight end Brenton Strange alley. He loves it.
You always want to go out there and impose your will against another team. That's what football's about, right? Like, you're going out there every single play, and you want to impose your will on another team. You want to keep hitting them as hard as you can until they lay down, because eventually somebody's going to lay down, and we don't want that to be us. We want to be the team that's the most violent every time we step out on the field. So I think that's a great thing that we're doing so far, and we just got to continue to keep building on that, because if we do, great things will happen.
When guys were dropping balls around him last week, he was the number 1 target in last week's game as well. And then, of course, in the running game, blocking from that tight end position is massive. This has been a good start to the season for Strange.
Excellent. Good all-around player. He's a tone setter. He does his job right now pretty much as well as anyone is doing their job on offense for what he is asked to do. He's not going to rip off 50-yard receptions very often, but what he's going to do is he's going to catch that 5-yard, he's going to turn up, and he's going to put a thump on somebody, and that can wear on you over the course of a game. He's been outstanding in the run game. Very happy with what we've gotten out of Brenton Strange.
It's the Publix Tailgate Show. JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey, the top sound of the week, and we flip it around to defense now for the Jaguars, facing a banged-up 49ers offense, and defensive end Josh Hines-Allen knows they do still have an identity.
I mean, I think they continue to stick to the identity of being a 49er. No matter the guys that come in, they do a good job of taking that grasp and continue to do what they do best. We just got to be, sound our technique and where we're supposed to be, and final alignment, do a lot of shifts and changes or whatever. We have to know that, expect it to happen, anticipate things to happen. And so we anticipate things, know it, we see it, play fast. And I think that's all we're really keen on this week.
And part of that identity, of course, is Christian McCaffrey, the running back, used both on the ground and in the passing game, leads the NFL with 77 touches this year. Anthony Campanelli, defensive coordinator, on the passing aspect of the running back.
Just if he was a receiver in general, you say this guy's a really good receiver, and he's a great back. So I think he's as good as there is at that position in terms of catching the ball in the backfield and presenting issues in the pass game. Yeah, he's special.
Yeah, he certainly is. He had a massive game against the Jaguars when he was with Carolina. That was a while ago, 2019 or so. But he can do it against a lot of teams in the league.
He's had a lot of massive games since then as well, right? We don't need to go back just 5 years. Just happened to be against us. But yeah, look, he is one of the ultimate weapons in the National Football League. He can do anything. He could truly line up and be their slot receiver because he is not just a good receiver. He's a good route runner. Like, he can run routes like a receiver. He can do pretty much anything. He's more powerful than you think. He doesn't look like he's going to be a powerful guy, and it just gets it done. And they're going to continue to give him the option. You can stop him 6, 7, 8 times in a row, and then you let down for 1 second and he breaks one for 80. I mean, that's the kind of player that he is, JP, and he's going to get 20 to 25 opportunities to do that today.
No doubt about that. And the Jaguars secondary been playing well so far this season. Tyson Campbell, Jaguars cornerback. They're taking the ball away this year. He did give up the game-tying touchdown last week, but Campbell bounced back with a forced fumble later, and he loves the group on the back end of this Jaguars defense so far, making plays.
We just love playing with each other out there, man. We just having fun, playing for one another, not pointing any fingers, having each other back and trust that, each player on the field is going to do their job. And after that, it becomes easy. It's just playing ball after that. So I think that's really what it comes down to, everybody playing one play at a time, and fight to the end of the whistle.
That's Tyson Campbell, another cornerback making plays. Jordan Lewis brought in free agency, and the personality on defense is showing.
It's looking pretty good right now, I would say. But like I said, it's a continuous thing. It's just, the attitude is every day. So that's what we have to think about, just getting better every day and imposing our will every single time we go out there on that field. So, the results are what we wanted it because of, the pursuit we've been looking for and the pursuit we've been having in practice since OTAs.
He's a big piece of what they have done defensively in terms of attitude and approach. In the secondary, they wanted to revamp that entire group. They certainly did the safety spot, but they did so as well, bringing in the top nickel corner in the NFL and Jordan Lewis, who can play all over.
And you brought in Travis Hunter as well. Jarian Jones is playing well again. You're just getting Monteric Brown back and healthy to add to the mix. Tyson Campbell, he's had a couple of miscues. Outside of the long touchdown, and you can't give him up, but he gave that up to Nico Collins last week. I thought he played really well last week. And I think the secondary, JP, has been a lot more physical than it's been in recent years. Dewey Wingard has stepped into a starting role. He's no longer just the guy that everyone kind of roots for, and he's like the team mascot sort of because of his infectious personality. He is out there making plays, so that is infectious. One guy makes a play, everybody else wants to get in on it, and so far so good with turning the ball over for this defense.
There you have it, some of the best sound of the week, and set your calendar for the annual Tailgate with Tony benefiting the Baselli Foundation. It's Sunday, October 12th, ahead of the Seahawks game from 10 a.m. to noon. Help support the Baselli Foundation's programs to provide mentoring for incarcerated young men, plus teachers in high-need schools. Elevated tailgate experiences are available with inclusive food from local restaurants and drinks. Tickets at BaselliFoundation.com/tailgate with Tony. Plenty more ahead. We're about 15 minutes away from Inactives. And up next, so a look around the National Football League and a 49ers perspective with Larry Krueger of KNBR Radio in San Francisco. It's a 4:05 Eastern kickoff time for the Jaguars and the 49ers. This is the Publix Tailgate Show on Jaguars Radio.
Craving the ultimate game day experience? Look no further. Cheer on your Jaguars as they travel to San Francisco to take on the 49ers this Sunday at the official away game watch party at Mr. Chubby's Ponte Vedra Beach. Indulge in the biggest and best wings in town with appearances by Jackson DeVille and The Roar. You'll even get the chance to win autographed items and game tickets, all while soaking up the lively atmosphere with fellow Jags fans. Mr. Chubby's Wings, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mr. Chubby's Wings, before the game, after the game, and during the game.
Frank Frangie here. When you want barbecue in Jacksonville, you want Bono's Pit Barbecue. You can find Bono's locations all around town and on game day at Everbank Stadium because Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Over 70 years of authentic Southern Pit Barbecue. We are the local barbecue joint in BBQval for generations of people in Jacksonville. Go to bonosbarbecue.com to learn more or call 904-880-8310 today. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Hey, fellow Floridians.
We're the Wombles.
We're retirees with 5 grandkids. And huge fans of natural gas. When the kiddos visit from Ohio, we go through towels like pool water. That's why we love our natural gas dryer. It dries in a jiff.
So we use less energy and save money, too.
Yep. Get involved!
Now earn up to a $300 cashback rebate when you install a new energy-efficient natural gas dryer. To learn more, go to peoplesgas.com/rebates.
Jags fans, this one's for you. If you've got MyGate rewards, you're already in the game. But now you've got a shot at the ultimate prize, meeting QB1 himself, Trevor Lawrence, at Everbank Stadium with 3 friends by your side. With the MyGate Rewards Gatorade Club, every 5 Gatorade items you purchase equals 1 entry toward your chance to win. Stack them up and score big. See store for details. Gear up for the season. Gates got you.
Restaurant Orsay is a bustling French-American bistro focusing on classic French techniques with their chefs incorporating a traditional Southern influence. Celebrate life's special moments or just relax and enjoy their daily happy hour. Restaurant Orsay also offers full-service catering for any of your event needs. Restaurant Orsay, located in historic Avondale at 3630 Park Street. Visit www.restaurantorsay.com.
Is your organization ready to tackle its toughest challenges? For 3 decades, CSI Companies based in Jacksonville has been the trusted workforce partner for leading healthcare and technology providers nationwide. Whether finding the right talent for a specific job, advising on a strategic project, or offering seamless managed services, they tailor every solution to fit your needs. CSI brings trusted expertise and a people-first approach to your organization. Get the job done right. Together, we go further. Learn more at CSICompanies.com. JP Shadrick with Mike Dempsey. No Austen Lane this week. We're at the Hyundai Studios. The Publix Tailgate show continues. Inside 2 hours until week 4. The Jacksonville Jaguars at 2-1. And the San Francisco 49ers at 3-0. It's a 4:05 Eastern Time kick at Levi Stadium in Santa Clara, California. Mike, let's go around the National Football League.
All right, hope you got up early today to watch a game in Dublin, Ireland at Croke Park, the first one there, as the Pittsburgh Steelers improved to 3-1 with a win over Minnesota. But on Friday night, Steeler quarterback Skylar Thompson was jumped and robbed in Dublin ahead of Pittsburgh's win over the Vikings. Thompson, who's on injured reserve, suffered only minor injuries. He's okay. He was with the team today and was able to watch as Aaron Rodgers, very efficient through 18 out of 22 attempts, completed 18 out of 22 for 200 yards and a touchdown. That was a short throw to DK Metcalf, who steamrolled most of the Minnesota defense on an 80-yard score. He caught 5 for 126. Kenneth Gainwell, filling in for the injured Jalen Warren, had 19 carries for 99 yards and 2 touchdowns, almost had a third, got stuffed on a 4th and 1 at the goal line. For Minnesota, playing again without J.J. McCarthy, they fell to 2-2. Carson Wentz completed 30 of 46 today for 2 touchdowns and a pair of interceptions, though, really hurt the Vikings. Justin Jefferson did his usual damage, 10 catches for 126 yards. We've got, I think, 7 games going on right now, including one in the AFC South where the Texans' offense continues to struggle, but their defense is shining today as they are shutting out the Tennessee Titans 6-0. A pair of field goals by Kaimi Fairburn have the only points on the board for the Texans, looking for their first win of the season. So one of the Jaguars' divisional foes will fall to 0-4 at the end of today. Elsewhere, we've got the Atlanta Falcons up 17-10 on the Washington Commanders. Drake London's caught 6 balls for 95 yards and a score. Bijan Robinson has a rushing touchdown in that game. Falcons trying to bounce back from a 30-0 defeat at the hands of Carolina last week, up 17-10 over Washington at the moment. In a game that a lot of people thought would be a blowout, and maybe it will eventually end up that way. Buffalo is in a tight one with the New Orleans Saints. The Bills at home hold only a 14-10 lead over those Saints. A rushing touchdown for James James Cook, 1 passing touchdown for Josh Allen. Saints ball at the 2-minute warning in Buffalo territory at the 19-yard line, still in the first half there. The Detroit Lions got a big win over Baltimore on Monday night. They're looking to continue that momentum as they return home, facing a very good Browns defense. And while the Lions are up 17-7, and it has been a bit of an offensive struggle today, Joe Flacco, though, has thrown a pair of interceptions, setting up a couple of Detroit scores. They got a rushing score from Jahmyr Gibbs and a receiving one from Amon-Ra St. Brown to provide that 17-7 margin over Cleveland. Quinshon Judkins, who was selected with the 36th pick that the Jags traded to Cleveland, has the score for the Browns today. The Patriots up 21-6 over those Carolina Panthers. A rushing touchdowns from Travion Henderson and Drake May helped provide that lead versus Carolina, as they've had Bryce Young under a pretty intense pass rush from what I've seen so far today. The Giants, probably the surprising score early today, JP. Jackson Dart, the rookie, getting the start at quarterback. Cam Scatabo getting the start at running back for the Giants. But it's their defense that has been most impressive, holding the Chargers to only a field goal through the first 28 minutes of the first half. The Giants have the ball on the Charger 13-yard line. They lead this one 10-3 at the moment. We'll keep an eye on that. Philadelphia showing no hangover from their emotional comeback win over the LA Rams last week. Went into Tampa. They blocked a punt early and scored that way. They since added a pair of Jalen Hurts to Dallas Goedert touchdown passes, and they lead the Bucs 21-3. Keep in mind, Baker Mayfield came in with a biceps injury. Chris Godwin is making his season debut after a horrific ankle foot injury last year. Mike Evans is out for the Bucs today, so they're a little bit undermanned on the offensive side, down 21-3 to Philadelphia. 1 minute remaining in the first half, and that'll take you through all the games in action around the National Football League.
There you have it. Look around the NFL in Week 4. Busy early window, of course, with that added game in Dublin this morning. Larry Krueger is the San Francisco 49ers pregame and postgame radio host and covers the Niners throughout the week on KNBR Radio in San Francisco. And, of course, plenty to cover this week with one of the most banged-up teams in the NFL and the Niners, and how they've worked offensively to get to 3-0 despite having so many frontline players down.
Good question, really. I mean, it's just been good enough. It's not like they're doing any. They have not hit their stride. They're just, they're operating at probably 40% of capacity. But Ricky Pearsall has stepped up, and Christian McCaffrey has stepped up. They still have Trent Williams, and they've gotten really, really good quarterback play. Both Brock Purdy and Mac Jones can process, and they're accurate. They play on time. They make good decisions. I think a lot of it, too, is, it's been Mac Jones the last couple of weeks, and I think Kyle Shanahan is seeing the traits that he liked in Mac Jones. I'm sure it's got to be very gratifying for Kyle Shanahan to see Mac Jones and his offense flourish like this.
Christian McCaffrey, of course, dual threat and has the most touches in the NFL. Is that sustainable long run? Is he back to his prime right here, or does he need help around him?
I mean, I don't think it could be sustainable. He's on a ridiculous pace. They'll use more Brian Robinson, but they haven't thus far. Maybe it's just because Robinson's new. But they're just leaning heavily on Christian because they're doing whatever they can to win games early in the year.
Larry Krueger with us, KNBR Radio San Francisco. Trent Williams has been at it for 16 years in the league. What about his game and the way he goes about his business brings confidence to this offensive line?
Well, I mean, he's just such a dominant guy. I mean, they can slide everything away from him and allow him to go one-on-one and just know that he's going to get the job done. I mean, that's really the effect of Trent Williams, is you can slide everything away from him and just know that he'll stand up on the island against the best players in the league. Now, his first game in week 1, he didn't play a lot this summer. He was rusty. He allowed, I think, 6 pressures. It was not one of his finest efforts. And then it got kind of annoying listening to the people going, highlighting how, this awesome, incredible player, Hall of Famer, let's highlight his down game. And I think he didn't like hearing it because he came back. The last 2 games have just been spectacular. And he's playing with a bone bruise on the knee. It's pretty painful. He's not practicing much, but the guy's a force.
Larry, let's get to defense now. No Nick Bosa. What does this mean for the edge players now for the Niners, and what do they have to offer without him there?
Well, I mean, as far as how they're going to do it, I guess we're going to have to figure that out together. But I would say my guess is that Yetur Gross-Matos, who's played inside in their, third down nickel package, I think he now is going to play outside full time. And I think you're still going to see, I don't think they're going to ask Mikel to do anything different, but I think they may ask Gross-Matos to be that edge setter and that replacement for Bosa. As far as their options within the roster, they have Robert Beal and Trevis Gibson on the practice squad. Gibson did have 7 sacks with the Bears, I think in 21 or 20. So he's a decent rusher, and he had a real good summer. So I would imagine they'll promote one, if not both of those guys, and then they may look around in a couple weeks at trade candidates, at practice squad options around the league. I think they'll be aggressive because Bosa's a loss.
What is the feel defensively with this team? What is their identity?
Well, I mean, they're just a lot faster on all 3 levels defensively than they were a year ago. I mean, D. Winters and Fred Warner are playing at a ridiculous level. They're really good. And then Mikel and Huff, Mikel Williams and Bryce Huff have given their front line more speed. And then Upton Stout and Marquise Siegel, the rookies in their secondary, have given their secondary more speed. So it's a much faster defense than it was a year ago on all 3 levels. But it's also a young defense that's going to make mistakes and probably could be tricked and fooled in certain situations. So there's growing pains, but Robert Saleh's blitzing about 22% of the time, which is up from his previous stint here, but that's all based on his personnel. And now I would imagine that number will continue to climb without Nick Bosa.
The exclusive extended interview with Larry Krueger of KMBR Radio in San Francisco, available on the official Jaguars podcast network. Subscribe for free wherever you download your podcasts. And, yeah, it's pretty remarkable what they've done with all these injuries to be 3-0. Mac Jones started the last 2 weeks and got it done at least enough offensively to get winning results for this team.
He played really well in week 2, actually. He was outstanding, particularly on third down, but obviously they want to get their guy back in there, just like we would have liked to have had our guy in last year. And we saw, Mac Jones for an extended look. It's impressive that they're able to win a couple of games with him, but that defense has kept them in it, and they are a team like in Jacksonville. JP, we talk about you got to learn how to win the close games. San Francisco's learned that. They've got that in their DNA, and they're not going to win every close game, but they're not going to panic as well if they've got to play a 14-13 style ball game.
Up next, Inactives and a pregame conversation with Kadani Stevens and John Oehser. They are at Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara. We are an hour and a half from the 4:05 Eastern kickoff time for the Jaguars and the San Francisco 49ers. This is the Publix Tailgate Show on Jaguars Radio.
Craving the ultimate game day experience? Look no further. Cheer on your Jaguars as they travel to San Francisco to take on the 49ers this Sunday at the official away game watch party at Mr. Chubby's Ponte Vedra Beach. Indulge in the biggest and best wings in town with appearances by Jackson DeVille and more. You'll even get the chance to win autographed items and game tickets, all while soaking up the lively atmosphere with fellow Jags fans. Mr. Chubby's Wings, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mr. Chubby's Wings, before the game, after the game, and during the game.
Hey fans, it's Tyson Campbell, cornerback for your Jacksonville Jaguars. This season, make your game day even tastier with Al's Pizza in the stadium. And you can enjoy even more with the pizza pick-off promo after the game. When the Jaguars get 2 interceptions in one game, you'll score 50% off one pizza any size you want for 48 hours after the game. Just tell them you want the Jags Pick promo when you order. Up your game and your pizza with Al's at the stadium or any of their locations.
The kick is up. It's good!
Field goals for Firehouse Subs are back. That means when the Jags score from deep, you do too. Anytime the Jags score a field goal that's 40 yards or more, you can get a free medium sub with the purchase of any other medium sub, online or in the app for 4 days following the game. So cheer on the Jags, watch for the big kicks, and get your buy one, get one free medium sub at participating Firehouse Subs throughout Jacksonville when you use the app. The hottest subs in Duval. See firehousesubs.com for offer terms. Feeling hungry, Jaguars fans? Fuel your Duval energy with a delicious Stahlmeyer all-beef hot dog on game day as you support your Jacksonville Jaguars. Whether you're at the game or at home, it's not game day without a Stahlmeyer all-beef hot dog made in Florida. Stahlmeyer all-beef hot dogs will fuel your energy to help bring on a victory for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Stahlmeyer all-beef hot dogs are available at your local Publix supermarkets. Don't feel hungry, Jaguars fans. Fuel your energy with the official hot dog of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Stahlmeier.
To aim higher, run faster. It's what elite athletes do. Always strive for better. At UF Health, we have that same DNA. To not just treat a stroke, but to create a fleet of mobile stroke treatment units. To not just do research, but to use AI to save lives with one of the most powerful supercomputers in academia. We believe, like athletes, that human progress has no finish line. UF Health, National Medical Center for Team USA.
Jacksonville, are you ready for a winning season at home? Don't let plumbing, septic, or AC issues throw a flag on your playbook. Duck Rooter is your hometown all-star team. Licensed, insured, and the only master septic contractor in Northeast Florida. We're proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and just like the Jags, we're built on trust, teamwork, and always playing to win. Call the team you can trust. Dial 904-862-6769 or visit DuckDuckRooter.com. Duck Rooter. When you're stuck, call the Duck.
Shadrick, Mike Dempsey from the Hyundai Studios of the Miller Electric Center. The Publix Tailgate Show continues. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure. The Jaguars at 2-1 meet the 49ers at 3-0. It's week 4. The game at Levi's Stadium, Santa Clara, California. Eastern kickoff time. And from the backyard to the beaches, the Ford F-150 with available Pro Power on board gives you the power of a mobile generator. Ford, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. See your local Ford dealer today. Inactives are due in about 3 minutes. We'll get those to you officially when they come down. Let's now go to Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara. We welcome in Jaguars reporter Kanani Stevens, Jaguars.com senior writer John Ozier as well. And good afternoon here. Good morning out in California. How are things in the Bay Area?
Good morning. It's a little overcast. I will say when you teased that John and I were coming on, the sun came out for a whopping 15 seconds. So I feel like that's a good omen.
That was me. That was me, the sun coming out.
John is the sun.
No, it's exactly what you expect from a San Francisco afternoon in the fall in the NFL. It's a fantastic overcast day for football.
Yeah, not much better than that for sure for the Jaguars and the 49ers. And you know what? End of the week, Robert Saleh started ruffling some feathers. The head coach, Shanahan, followed it up the next day. Liam Cohen took the high road in terms of the legal sign-stealing thing. Are we overblowing this a little bit, or what's the feel going into the game today?
Well, if I legally speed, I assume I'm not getting stopped, right, JP?
That's true. Yeah.
That's how you and I roll. So, It feels sort of silly to me and weirdly timed. I think we've all followed this kind of thing, Mike and JP, and it was odd, and I couldn't figure out sort of what they were getting at. It's kind of what coaching is right now. I mean, you set it up to try to go in motion, have shifts to read the opposing defense, and it's what they do. And I kind of didn't get it, Kai. I mean, maybe I'm just naive or old. I'm not sure.
It was also, there's a couple things that are weird about it. The beginning of it, the beginning with the question wasn't even about that. It was about Nick Bosa not playing on defense. And then all of a sudden we're talking about whatever the Jaguars offense is doing to steal signs. So I didn't know how we got there in the first place. The double down by the head coach the other day of saying that it was a compliment, but also that they don't do it. Was a little odd, and I feel like everybody does it to a certain degree. Sure. So it was a little strange.
Yeah, and I think it probably does show how much teams have to think about that when they're playing the Jaguars or these teams that are identifying looks. But unless I'm told differently, I thought identifying looks and trying to figure out what the other team was in was part of today's NFL. Maybe I'm just too 1995, Mike.
I don't know. It seems like you're just watching film at that point. If the safety's jumping up and down doing a signal, it's going to be on tape, right?
I don't know if Robert Saleh was upset because he referenced Minnesota, right? And so that's like a finger pointed at Grant Udinski because Minnesota beat the Jets last year, 23-17. He talked about how they were, in alignments or knew exactly what to do in certain situations. That seems like good preparation. I think Shanahan's comments about not doing anything that's not fair is what elevates this even more so. I think if it was just Saleh, it might have been a little bit of water under the bridge. But
Sounds like Udinski's in their kitchen, guys.
Hey, well, good. I hope he's in their head today as well. So let's move past that because I think it'll be brought up, especially if the Jags win, get some player reaction to those comments, guys. But you've been around these players now all off season, the early part of the 2025 campaign. Is this group more mentally prepared to make a West Coast road trip and compete at a higher level than recent versions of the Jags?
Yeah, I think they're better. I mean, I think this team believes in what's going on more than it did in the last year and a half. I mean, so that to me is what sort of gives you a chance when you go on the road. If everybody's in, if everybody believes in what's going on, then that gives you the ability to be mentally ready. I don't know if I expect him to win. I mean, but I expect him to compete out here, and I expect it to be a tight game going in. I expect him to play with the same sort of fight, Kai, and the energy, the fourth quarter stuff we've all seen. This team doesn't believe that it's going to lose going into games. I'm not saying they're overconfident or invincible, but they expect to be prepared and to win. So I do expect him to play well and have a chance today.
Yeah, and I think being early in the season, right, so they're still just a couple games into this new regime, right? There's tons of buy-in. There's no, we can't do this any of last year where something goes wrong immediately, right, we're going to lose this football game. There's none of that. And I think Tony told you, JP, on Happy Hour the other day, they have a bad record in California, but they don't have a great road record as a franchise. The Jaguars have over the history of the team. So, I mean, when you couple that in.
Home record's not that great lately. I mean,
overall record, no, I mean, yes. Not to get too into the weeds, but yeah, the overall, there's been some bad seasons, right? So that's going to skew a lot of numbers. We don't come out here that often, so there's that to include as well. So I think more than anything, this team is in a good spot. They're 2-1. They could be 3-0 at this point. So to come out here, and I don't think anybody expects a blowout necessarily. I feel this is going to be a competitive football game, and I think that's all you can really ask. And whether you get a win out of it or not, I think it'll be close.
Here's a couple things about the West Coast thing. First of all, they've won on the West Coast in 19 and 20 in 22. Yeah. So I'm not sure that's that much of a thing as it used to be. And I was getting all these question guys about, they never win in San Francisco. So I went back and looked at it.
The 2 times.
They played twice. So, I don't think that's as big of a factor as maybe it has been in some eras, JP and Mike, when we've talked about it, and it has felt like a thing.
John Oehser, Kanani Stevens with us from Levi's Stadium, Santa Clara, California. And let's get to this Jaguars offense now and dropping the football. De'Ami Brown is inactive today. We'll get to the full list coming up. But Brian Thomas Jr. is active. He had the big catch to set up the game-winning touchdown last week. It was an open route, catch and run. Is this something where he's going to get past the drops if he makes a contested catch in traffic? Does that break him out of this slump?
I hope so.
Yeah, I mean, it's so hard. Like, when Liam Cohen was asking this week, he kind of chuckled about the drops. Not chuckling at the players, but when you ask somebody, how do you fix drops? In doing this 30 years, it's the most unanswerable question that you can ask. You got to catch the ball. You got to figure out, is it mental? Is it taking your eyes off of it? Whatever. I don't know how to answer it. I do know that Parker Washington had drops last week and Brian Thomas had drops. You cannot go into this game thinking we're not going to throw those guys the ball because they had drops. So here's the ball. Here's your opportunity. Go make it happen today. I don't know if it'll keep happening, but it can't, Kai, if this offense is going to operate the way it should.
Yeah, they need to turn that page. I don't know if it's going to be momentum necessarily, but for me to see Brian Thomas get that catch in the fourth quarter that led to the game-winning touchdown against the Texans was huge, because sometimes when you get out of it or you're not playing well, it feels like if you aren't in it in the maybe first quarter, you're out for the whole game.
Right.
And so for me to see him at least, A, to Trevor, to trust him still and to throw to him in that moment, and B, to still, as many drops as he had, be like, no, I still got this. That's confidence to me. At a certain level, you can be shaken at times and have, whatever mentally that the dropsies get to you. But if you can still be gone to and something come out of that and earn a win in a game where you didn't play great, that means something to me. That's not something we've seen around here a ton. And a good team that finds a way to win in a bad game gives more to me than a blowout victory does. So I take a lot of value out of that. That's what I want to see in a player. So do I know if he's going to have a great first quarter? I have no idea, but I know that They're still going to utilize him. They're still going to go to him. They aren't just going to ice him out because he doesn't start great necessarily.
Guys, I'm not a psychologist, but I play one on the radio. It's better that he caught that pass in the fourth quarter than dropped it. Because it's got to help his confidence a little bit.
You would think, right? And hopefully that will be something that they can build off today. Continue to build off Josh Hines Allen's strong play. He goes up against one of the best, if not the best, left tackle in the game in Trent Williams. Who's got the edge in that matchup today?
Well, I think prime Trent Williams would have had the edge. I don't know that he's still prime Trent Williams. I think he's still prime very, very good. I think Josh is going to be motivated. I mean, it is certainly a chance to – he has been dominant. He has wrecked games. I don't care what the sacks are. He has been the best defensive player on the field, he and Jordan Lewis. So I think we could see another Josh Hines Allen – I can't even call him breakout games anymore. I think he's going to play well because he's played well all year.
I think what might help is the only other more motivated person might be Eric Armstead coming back to the 49ers. So you can get some push in the inside. That'll help Josh out a lot, and Trayvon, of course. But to see if we can get that going. Also, Brock Purdy's coming in. We don't know what his mobility is going to be. He's dealing with that turf toe injury. Originally, I think they said 2 to 5 weeks. So this is on the earlier end. So if coming in, we don't know how mobile he will be. So if he can't get around in the pocket a ton, that helps him out too. So I think that's definitely a matchup that I'm looking at. If they can get to Brock Purdy, kind of rattle him, if you will, that's going to help them a ton.
And guys, I'm not usually always, hey, you're going back to play your old team and be motivated, because sometimes circumstances change.
This one is.
But Armstead, the 49ers let him go. And it was this 49ers bunch that let him go. So I do think it'll matter to Eric Armstead.
Great stuff as always, John Oehser, Kanani Stevens. Enjoy the game. We'll talk to you when you get back. Safe travels.
Thanks, guys.
Guys, thanks.
Ty and John from Levi's Stadium, Santa Clara. The Inactives are in. Here are the players down for the Jacksonville Jaguars today. Dyami Brown, wide receiver, is out for the game today, unavailable. Khalif Halassi, the safety, is inactive. Cody Schrader, running back, will not play. Yasir Abdullah, linebacker, mainly a special teams player for this Jags team, is not playing today. Wyatt Milam still inactive. Danny Strigo, rookie defensive lineman, is out. BJ Green, rookie defensive lineman, is active today. Colin Saunders, veteran defensive tackle, inactive for the Jags. 2 players elevated from the practice squad: Quentin Morris, the tight end, and Austen Trammell, the wide receiver.
Yeah, that Austen Trammell elevation kind of gave you an indication that Dyami might be down, but he did make the trip, so there was hope at least, so he will not be available today. For the 49ers, 6 players officially ruled out, and none of them are Jawan Jennings and Ricky Pearsall. Although Pearsall said last Thursday he could have played then, it was always expected he would play. Jennings has only practiced once in the last 2 weeks. He is active today. The 6 inactives include running back Jordan James, pair of wide receivers Jordan Watkins and Marquez Valdez-Scantling, defensive lineman C.J. West, linebacker Nick Martin, and cornerback Renardo Green will not be available today for San Francisco.
The inactives are in ahead of the 4:05 Eastern kickoff. We're closing in on Jaguars Radio Network coverage. Inside 20 minutes away now. Countdown to kickoff starts at 3 o'clock. Up next, a fantasy forecast, and we'll hear from Frank Frangie in the broadcast booth in Santa Clara. Jaguars Niners in Week 4. This is the Publix Tailgate Show on Jaguars Radio.
It's game time, Jaguars fans. This season, feed your fandom with the Jaguars sub from Publix, the official supermarket of your Jacksonville Jaguars. Wow! Sink your teeth into crispy chicken tenders, boar's head bacon, melted cheddar, sweet coleslaw, and smoky barbecue mayo, all stacked on a fresh white roll. Taste the hype only at Jacksonville Publix locations. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Craving the ultimate game day experience? Look no further. Cheer on your Jaguars as they travel to San Francisco to take on the 49ers this Sunday at the official away game watch party at Mr. Chubby's Ponte Vedra Beach. Indulge in the biggest and best wings in town with appearances by Jackson DeVille and the Roar. You'll even get the chance to win autographed items and game tickets, all while soaking up the lively atmosphere with fellow Jags fans. Mr. Chubby's Wings, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mr. Chubby's Wings. Before the game, after the game, and during the game.
What's here is a place that generations have trusted to help their kids grow up healthy and strong. What's here are caregivers with knowledge and expertise rivaling any children's hospital in the world. What's here is the only Level 1 pediatric trauma center in our region. What's here is Wolfson Children's Hospital, with the technology, research, and dedication to save and change countless young lives. Wolfson Children's, always here. Visit wolfsonchildrens.com.
Jacksonville builders score big with DL Cabinetry. As the official cabinet supplier of the Jacksonville Jaguars, they offer top quality kitchen and bathroom cabinetry for any project. Enjoy fast turnaround, complimentary design, and great prices. Visit dlcabinetry.com today to learn more and to become a dealer. Limited spots available. DL Cabinetry, the winning choice for builders.
Are you looking for a way to support those who serve? The Jaguars are proud to partner with VetTix, a national nonprofit doing amazing things for our veterans, service members, first responders, and their families. VetTix has given away over 30 million free event tickets nationwide to a wide range of live events, including Jaguars games. These tickets help reduce stress, strengthen family bonds, and create lifelong memories. Join us in supporting their vital work. To donate your unused tickets, discover how to become a member, or support their cause, visit vettix.org or firsttix.org today.
Since 2014, there's been only one official home builder of the Jaguars, Dreamfinders Homes. With quality-built homes and a speedy move-in process, we're in 20-plus communities in the best locations across Northeast Florida. Dreamfinders Homes is everywhere you want to live. So get off the sidelines, Jags fans, and get into the game. Let Dreamfinders help you navigate your home purchase and offer great interest rates. Visit dreamfindershomes.com for all your move-in ready homes and step up your game.
JP Shadrick with Mike Dempsey from the Hyundai Studios. The Publix Tailgate Show continues. The Jaguars at 2-1, the 49ers at 3-0 coming up. It's a 4:05 Eastern kickoff time at Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara, California. How about a fantasy forecast, Mike?
All right, let's do it. Most of the early games into the third quarter, a couple still at halftime. We'll start with the Atlanta Falcons up 17-10 on the Washington Commanders, as that's 17 more than the Falcons managed to score last week. Bijan Robinson managers will have to deal with 54 yards and a touchdown to this point on the ground. But Drake London having the big day, 6 catches for 95 yards and a score for Atlanta. They hold that 7-point lead. Buffalo struggling a little bit here with the New Orleans Saints. Josh Allen is 7 out of 11 for 115 yards and a touchdown to Khalil Shakir, who's got 2 grabs for 47. James Cook on the ground, 58 yards rushing with a score there, but the Bills only up 14-10 right now over the New Orleans Saints. The Lions starting to open up their lead a little bit late in the first half. They got a Jared Goff touchdown pass to Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Jahmyr Gibbs also ran in a score for the Lions. They're up 20-7 right now. Joe Flacco, actually the yardage leader at quarterback with 123 in the game, but he's also thrown a couple of interceptions and just moments ago got sacked for the second time today by Aiden Hutchinson. 20-7, Lions on top there. The Patriots got a bevy of rushing scores, one from Drake May, one from Travion Henderson, one from Antonio Gibson. They lead the Panthers right now 28-6. Of course, it was the Panthers who won 30-0 over Atlanta last week. They are struggling offensively today. Leading receiver in the game, Stephon Diggs, has 49 yards on 4 grabs. At the half, the Giants on top of the Chargers 13-10, but Justin Herbert got going late in the half. He's thrown for 142 yards, and he scored a Quentin Johnston, who's having a terrific year. 6 catches for 68 yards, and that score today. Jackson Dart making his debut as a starter for the Giants has a rushing touchdown, and the Giants have a 3-point halftime lead up 13-10. The Eagles all over the Buccaneers. They scored early on a block punt. Jalen Hurts has since thrown a couple of touchdowns to Dallas Goedert. Hurts accounting for 130 yards through the air, 42 more on the ground. Goddard has 4 catches today for 37 yards and 2 scores. Looking for the fantasy leader in the Tennessee-Houston game? Look again. All right. It's 6-0, and I guess Ka'imi Fairburns hit 2 field goals, so he's your big star there. Alec Iomanner, the rookie receiver, leading all receivers in the game with 2 grabs for 44 yards. And then this afternoon, there's some inactives potentially to be aware of as you move into the later window. We know some guys have already been declared active, including Devontae Adams. He was questionable coming into this game. He is up for the LA Rams. They take on Indianapolis this afternoon. Alec Pierce has a concussion. He's been ruled out already for the Colts. JP told you earlier, De'Ami Brown has been ruled out for the Jags, but Ricky Pearsall and Jawan Jennings are both active for the Niners. Still waiting on word for some of the 425 kicks. Colston Loveland not expected to play for the Bears. DeAndre Swift is questionable. He is expected to go against Las Vegas today. Baltimore, Kansas City. One of these teams falls to 1-3 today, barring a tie. Isaiah likely expected to make his season debut for the Ravens. He dealt with a foot injury he suffered in training camp. And then CeeDee Lamb, as we know, is out for multiple weeks. I'm making George Pickens the number one wide receiver tonight. Dallas taking on Green Bay. But it's really, what can Green Bay do against a team that's given up 300 yards passing on average per game? And one more for Monday night. Justin Fields has been cleared from the concussion protocol, and he will start in a very choice matchup on the road versus the Miami Dolphins.
There's your fantasy forecast. We're closing in on Countdown to Kickoff on the Jaguars Radio Network, presented by the University of Florida, the number one university in the U.S. News and World Report's number one state for education. Let's head to Santa Clara, California, back to the Jaguars broadcast booth, presented by Heritage of North Florida, Jacksonville's premier roofing and remodeling company. Frank Frangie standing by. And the Jaguars on the West Coast trying to get something done against the undefeated 49ers. And Frank, let's start off with this Jaguars defense. They're playing well. They're good against the run. They're taking the football away. They've got to tackle Christian McCaffrey today, both in the run and the passing game. What kind of challenge is ahead?
Yeah, hello to you and Mike, JP, and you're exactly right. It's a different challenge now. Look, the reality is the Texans are a struggling franchise right now. You played the Bengals most of the game without Burrow, and the Panthers aren't a great team. This is a little different challenge. This is a heritage team. It's a very good football team, one of the best running backs in the league, if not the best, to your point, JP, about Christian McCaffrey. Got to play better. But I'll say this about that defense. The things you mentioned, man, oh, man, the takeaways, that's the thing, right? I can't ever remember a team, maybe I didn't pay attention, but a team that had more takeaways 3 games in than they had the year before altogether. So that's a big part of who these guys are defensively, and you're probably going to need, JP, 1 or 2 of those takeaways today, I would imagine.
Yeah, it says a lot about what they didn't accomplish last year too, Frank, obviously. But you know what the Niners are going to accomplish this year, they have to now do moving forward without Nick Bosa. And the Jags offensive line had already been playing well, but there's just simply no way to replicate what he gives to that team. That seems like a big edge for the Jags.
I agree with you, Mike. The most important guy on a team not to lose is the quarterback, no matter who the team is. After that, man, the primary pass rusher might be next in line. It is so important, and them not having Bosa is a big deal. There's no question. And I think it'll be interesting to see how the Jags play. The Jags have helped Walker Little by keeping a tight end in against good pass rushers, Trey Hendrickson among them, Mike. I'll be interested to see how they play this, if they play it any differently, because Bosa's not there. Now, San Francisco is still a very good defensive team in many areas. They got the best middle linebacker in the league. They've got good players. But they don't have Bosa, so it'll be very interesting to see how the Jags go about that offensively. Do they leave a tight end in to chip a little bit? Do they help their tackles, or do they just let them go? Big part of the game today, Mike. It really is.
Well, they got to line up right, first of all, and not get the illegal shifts. And then when they do line up correctly, catch the football, Frank. So those are self-inflicted things that have hurt this offense moving in the past couple weeks.
You know, JP, we were just talking in the press box a minute ago to some guys, and some people said, what do you think? Well, the first thing I think is that the Jags have to quit running into each other, right? That's the thing. The shift penalties, the drop passes. Again, the 3 teams they've beaten right now are not great football teams, particularly if you look at the Bengals without Burrow, right? Well, you can't do that stuff and beat teams like this. You can't have all the shift penalties. You can't have all the drop passes and come all the way out here to Santa Clara and beat the San Francisco 49ers. So I agree with you, man. That is a big part of this, and they know that. We all know that's been a point of emphasis probably every practice. You know that since last week and even before that. So, yeah, the Jags have to clean up that stuff if they're going to come out west and beat the San Francisco 49ers. JP, there's no doubt in my mind about that.
All right, so Frank, Robert Saleh and Kyle Shanahan apparently have crowned the Jags the new espionage kings of the National Football League. Right. It's legal, but it's not fair, or we don't do it because it wouldn't be fair, whatever. I think Liam Cohen is bothered by this. I do, based on his response. He hadn't heard the Shanahan comments. They hadn't been made yet. Do you think this trickles down into motivation for his team today?
I'd be surprised if that one, they just blow the big horn here, I'd be surprised if that one has a major effect on the game. I thought the Houston linebacker knocking out Trevor last year affected those guys. Nobody talked about it, but I thought they played with an extra passion because of that, Mike. I think this is more of a media story. Yeah, I think he's probably annoyed by it a little bit and probably brings it up, but I don't think it's a major factor. I think the way bigger factors in this game are the Jags have to play clean, and I think if they play clean, we have a heck of a game here in Santa Clara. I really do.
Well, the foghorn means we're closing in on kickoff, so enjoy and have a great call today, Frank.
And that's an all-world foghorn they've got here, JP. It really is. Thanks, fellas. I appreciate it.
It is working today, certainly. In Week 4, Santa Clara, Levi's Stadium. Frank Frangie will have the call coming up with the Jaguars and the San Francisco 49ers. Looking forward to this matchup, and we'll see. You know, it's a team that's won. They've been to Super Bowls. They have some of their personnel back on the offensive side today. You mentioned Bosa's out, of course, on defense, but I don't know. This Jaguars team doesn't feel like they're going to be intimidated by any of that anymore. Anything goes wrong early in the game, it's not over with this group.
But San Fran is a good team. Yep. They won't beat themselves generally, and you're going to have to take it. And if you do, I think it'll open some eyes.
Up next, Jaguars Radio Network coverage with Countdown to Kickoff. We'll hear Fred Taylor's take on today's game and the final word before kick with head coach Liam Cohen. Thanks for listening to the Publix Tailgate Show on Jaguars Radio.
It's game time, Jaguars fans. This season, feed your fandom with the Jaguars sub from Publix, the official supermarket of your Jacksonville Jaguars. Wow! Sink your teeth into crispy chicken tenders, boar's head bacon, melted cheddar, sweet coleslaw, and smoky barbecue.